A chance for the Royals to claw back. Runners on first and second. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Here's the pitch. Perez drives it high in the air, deep to left. Hayes races back at the fence. It's gone. Salvador Perez puts a jolt into Kauffman Stadium. A 3-run homer puts the Royals back in the ball game. Still a ways to go, but now it's 7-3. You could feel the fans willing that swing into existence.
Well, unfortunately, the Kansas City Royals left Kauffman Stadium Saturday night as losers. Only the 3rd time they have lost on their home turf this young season. A 7-0 hole by the end of the 2nd inning was too much for the Bats to conquer as they fall to the Baltimore Orioles 9-7 to even up the series in Kauffman Stadium at 1 apiece, setting up Sunday's rubber match. Welcome to the Royals Recap. My name is Jacob Milham, and I am one half of the Royals Rundown podcast. If you want even more details and analysis on tonight's loss, go check out the article on RoyalsReview.com. Also, join the comment community over there. Interact with other Royals fans from around the world. And plus, you could also make your voices heard via fan posts, comments, fan shots, however you want to do it. It is a great community over at RoyalsReview.com. Let's go ahead and dive into it. And it is for good reason, unfortunately. The main story of tonight's loss is going to fall on Cole Ragns and his implosion tonight. It is. This was not what we were expecting at all from the lefty. Only pitching 1 2/3 innings, by far the shortest start of any Royals pitcher so far this season, allowing 7 earned runs on only 9 hits, but with 4 strikeouts in the process. This is. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch the start to this game because, frankly, it just seemed like one of those games where the Orioles could do no wrong the first time through the lineup, or the second time through the lineup, excuse me. It just sometimes that's going to happen in baseball games, and you can look at all the soft contact singles and the Orioles just keeping the lineup going against Ragns, and it was disappointing. It was a very disappointing way to start off the game, not gonna lie, especially when you expect from a guy like Cole Ragns, you expect a quality start at the very least, if not a dominant performance that's going to make SportsCenter the next day. No, that was far from it on Saturday night. As Corbin Burns, the Baltimore Orioles starter, far outdueled Ragns in their rematch from earlier on this season. At this point, you just kind of got to chalk it up and say that happens sometimes. Even the best are going to have bad games, and it's just Ragns got dinked and dunked around. It wasn't... he wasn't just allowing bombs left and right. It was a lot of just the Orioles putting the ball in play and it falling their way. That happens sometimes in baseball. Those thoughts on his start really got a little bit better to swallow once the bats came alive. The Royals were not really able to get to Corbin Burns until the bottom of the 6th inning, where they scored 3 runs, and things got a little interesting. Salvador Perez recorded his 6th home run to left field, an absolute bomb, scoring him, Michael Garcia, and Vinny Pasquantino, making this a 7-3 game, and at least getting the Royals back into it. Before he hit that home run, the Royals had a 1.4% chance of winning. Like they were about as out of it as you can get. And I get it, they didn't win the game, but if you are looking for a moral victory, after that 7-run second inning, the Royals scored 7 runs of their own. The lineup came alive. They got to multiple different Orioles pitchers. Their reliever Ramirez in the 7th inning comes to mind, especially as one who just could not do anything against the Royals. Unfortunately, some more quality hitting from Anthony Santander, and then also a passed ball scored 2 more runs in the 7th and 8th innings, and that gave Baltimore their 9 runs to Kansas City 7. That's just how it is. You gotta shrug your shoulders and move on to the next one. I did like that we saw some more matchups in the lineup later on in the game. At least, Matt Quatraro trying to go with handedness versus handedness, getting in Garrett Hampson, Adam Frazier, and Dairon Blanco where it applied most. Salvador Perez, he was really the difference for the Kansas City Royals tonight. Had 5 RBIs tied for his career high. Michael Garcia also continued breaking out of his slump. He is showing that he loves to play in Kauffman Stadium, having a 2-hit game himself. Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Dairon Blanco are the only other Royals to record hits tonight. Nelson Velasquez, he drew a walk where he came around and scored later on, but really he had a strikeout in the bottom of the 7th with the bases loaded that really just it felt like it was over after that in a sense. And it was. Bases loaded, 2 outs, strikes out swinging. At that time, the Royals are trailing 8-7, but they still had more than a 45% chance of winning at that time. Like they had a lot of things going for them, and if that at-bat had gone differently, we might be talking about a Kansas City Royals win right now rather than the other. So it is what it is. Matt Sauer, Nick Anderson, Angel Serpa, Anthony Veneziano, Chris Stratton all pitched shutout innings out of the pen. John Schreiber did allow 1 earned run, but all in all, If you look at the line, the Royals didn't do too terrible, the Royals bullpen did not do too terrible against Orioles hitting. They did allow 6 hits after Ragns came out of the game, but they only allowed 1 more earned run. They walked 3 batters, but they also struck out 5. But it's like I've said so many times before. This is a game you gotta shrug your shoulders at. You gotta say it happens. You can't win them all in 162 games, and this was a very entertaining game, even after the second inning, and where it seemed like the Royals were out of it. You can hear the crowd get energized, just like Jake Eisenberg said. You could feel them willing Salvador Perez to get them back into the game, and that's exactly what he did. And from there, it was an enjoyable game, and at least competitive from there. Overall, it was a competitive game, and this team clawing back from a 7-run deficit to at least make it interesting is worth noting. Coming up on the other side of the ad break, we will hear from whoever Bally Sports scrounges up to talk to after tonight's disappointing loss. Stay tuned.
It is relentless. I mean, the guys take a lot of pride in their at-bats. And, I mean, the guys, Salvi coming up with the home run there to get us back in the game was huge. I think it should be noted, too, how they fed off the crowd. I mean, the crowd was really into it tonight. It was a good atmosphere. The fans were really behind us, and I think that had a lot to do with it.
Do you feel a shift in the when Salvi hits that 3-run homer?
Oh, yeah. I mean, then they go to the pen, and at that point you're hoping to get Cano and Kimbrel in the game, because that means we're doing something good. And a couple the run scores on the broken glove, and then that ball that Santander hits a squibber down the line. I mean, those are tough runs to give up. I mean, they're runs, they count, right? But still battling back and putting them in a situation where we had a chance to win the game was big.
In the second inning, when you are down 7-0, the offense, you do feel out of it. What are those conversations like in the dugout?
No, they were putting up. I mean, we're facing one of the best pitchers in the league, and he's cutting it and sinking it and throwing his curveball. I mean, those are not easy at bats, so they were not taking them for granted by any means. But you're facing a really good pitcher.
How did you evaluate Cole Ragns' start tonight?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, he looked like his stuff was really good. Obviously, struck out the side in the first. He's throwing hard, but for whatever reason, with 2 strikes, they did a good job of putting the ball in play. There weren't too many hard hit balls, but they're 2-strike hits, and that you got to give him credit for that.
49 pitches is probably concerning for anybody, but you think about bringing in Sauer a little bit quicker in that inning for Ragns?
I mean, it crossed my mind, but, again, he's getting to 2 strikes on every hitter. I'm thinking if he gets out of it 5 pitches earlier, he's probably going back out for the third and try to pick up another inning. Unfortunately, the hit made it 7-0 instead of 5-0, and that was the backbreaker.
And speaking of Sauer, that was big for him to come in and get those 2 innings to kind of keep you there. So just how have you seen his just progression as he continues to get these opportunities in the major leagues?
Yeah, he's progressing. You see a development with the 2-seamer. You see the slider more in the zone. You see a little more confidence. You see him quicker to the plate. You see him just putting up zeros. And, every outing he gets in the big leagues is a growth moment.
Phil's aggressiveness on the bases in the 7th, do you like that? And, in hindsight, obviously, you guys, but in the moment.
Yeah, we'd like to have that one back for sure. I mean, Izzy would too. That's just probably a little bit over aggressive, with the ball right in front of you and a guy that can throw.
And then just Salvio overall tonight, 5 RBIs. But what more can you say about him and what he's doing?
Well, to me, it's when we're down 7-0, he's in the game. He's in every pitch, offensively, defensively. He's still doing his best to get strikes behind the plate. His competitiveness and drive is what you want to focus on. He comes up, he doesn't take an at-bat for granted. Even that last at-bat there, he squares that ball up pretty well to left. He's swinging the bat well right now for sure, but just how he stays in every game is impressive.
All right, y'all, that is going to do it for tonight's Royals recap. Once again, my name is Jacob Milham. Thank you very much for joining me. Coming up tomorrow, Sunday, April 21st, we have the series finale against the Baltimore Orioles. First pitch is at 1:10 Kauffman Standard Time. Seth Lugo will be making the start, facing off against Cole Irvin. The righty veteran Lugo, 3-0, a 105 ERA. He is looking very strong still in 2024. Meanwhile, Irvin looking the exact opposite, 0-1 record with a 6.75 ERA. Not looking too good there. The Royals play tomorrow for the series win and get a measure of revenge after they drop the series in Camden Yards. You can tune in tomorrow for the Royals recap, and then also Monday morning for our full-length episode. Thank you all very much for joining me tonight, and until next time, go Royals!